Hello everyone, DonTheCrown here, and let's talk about some updates to the build. It's been a little bit since I've made a video, and I've changed a whole bunch here, and I just kind of want to talk about what is going on. And we definitely have made the build a lot faster. Here, I'm actually going to turn off the God of War on this map so you can kind of see. One of the things that was kind of bugging me is that the speed overall was pretty slow, and there's a few things that I've added that are a little bit confusing. And there is one thing in particular that I need to mention right off the bat, which is I corroded my helmet, and I got like the worst corrode possible probably in terms of like hitting the mods because I hit like all the wrong mods. And so if you're just going to copy my build code and like try to grab a hat that looks like this is pretty much not what we want at all. I think I probably want the other two stats corroded. This is just basically what I was wearing, when I did this video. And I happened to get lucky with a corrode that didn't give me really what I wanted. Now, there are some other little tiny things that we've changed with the build. I found a way, or remembered a way, to basically make it so that you can go and have a way faster cooldown on your movement skill, which is pretty nice. And this is kind of like an old tech that has been part of the game for a while, but it is activation medium multi-strike. Now, I might think that this is really stinking weird because we don't multi-strike, and that's kind of the point. This will never trigger your blink. However, activation medium multi-strike can have up to 25% additional cooldown recovery speed. So between this and cooldown reduction support, we're getting half of our cooldown taken away from blink. So it's a 1.5 second cooldown. This is really stinking nice. Highly recommend it. Also switched around my auras a little bit on charged flame now. A big part of this is because I'm getting more and more strength, and the physical aura basically doesn't really work all that well with our particular setup. Let me describe this real quick. So previously, when we were basically going through and doing our spell, we have like fizz damage on our spell that gets converted into fire. And most of our damage was coming from, I had like fizz on my staff, and you have fizz as part of the base. But we're also adding flat fizz from our jealousy, our chest armor. And all of this here, this flat fizz or this flat fire that is added to our damage is not getting affected supposedly by our physical auras over here. And so we need an aura that is going to actually hit all of our damage. And this kind of makes precise charged flames better. We do need to have paralysis on a slate. I'm also using Summon Thunder Magus. Eventually this will probably be superpower for more cast speed. Might even try to like get some more mana stacky into the build later on to get like another 50% aura and spell amplification. I just dropped a concentrated. These are pretty expensive. I should probably sell this realistically. That's about, oh yeah, I should probably sell this. Actually, no, this is level 20. Yeah, so pretty expensive piece. Maybe I should probably sell that to buy something. But if you just happen to have one of these you get dropped, these are always pretty nice because we only have 2 auras on us. These other 2 are not auras. This is not an aura technically. This is just a minion. And then focuses are also not auras. Those actually tripled in price since I got one, which is pretty crazy. And so yeah, we're still using flame focus here. Now for gear changes, I basically have upgraded to a second priceless ring here, and this ring is kind of giving me a massive amount of headache in terms of trying to get a dream craft onto here, but it is kind of what it is. Getting things like +1 max tenacity or curse on a ring right now is very difficult to do, which is why you're seeing the like dream talking stuff be so expensive. So we go here to dream, we can see that shallow dream talking for trinkets is about 21. Weapons I believe are about 10. Armor is chilling at about 3.5. So if you farm Dream is actually insane right now. I think it's just people haven't been farming it this season, which is pretty nuts. And yeah, so just like kind of working on that, I've gone through and kind of redid some of the stats on my weapon because, now that things align correctly. So previously we had flat physical on our weapon here, but instead that's going to be spell damage, and we're having spell burst charge speed. This just lets us get our get our bursts out faster. I think I'm bursting like 4 times a second now, which is just really cool. Now my belt is still kind of in limbo here because getting steady accumulation onto the belt here is incredibly expensive at the moment. I believe that like tier 8, I need I need, I think it's the tier 8 plant here. So steady accumulation. This would give us combo points. So this one here is, the price is just going absolutely wild. These were like 500 a couple of days ago. Then there were 600. Now they're like going up to 900. People haven't been farming this either. They did just do a buff to Sandlord today that increases the amount of stuff that you get in terms of the things that the like the food category can kind of generate. And so hopefully this like makes it so that people can send out bigger shipments. We'll kind of see on that. So we're kind of just waiting on a belt for that, which is why if we go and look at my supports, I'm running recuperation until I can get that. Refracted prism just helps so much with the clear. And then the other thing that I did to kind of give us some more speed was to change my prism. And the prism, like I have enough damage now. We're at like 1.5 trillion without really having the prism active. And it's probably closer to 2 trillion. Probably, I think it's 2.2 with like everything going. But this here is just super strong. Get more movement speed, get additional damage. But then I went and I bought one that gives me 8% movement speed per legendary talent. I also have resistances because I need that. And so we get another 16% movement speed here because we have 2 legendaries in the range. This is just like a really primo spot to put a prism for our build right now. Now, one thing that I did change as well was also my slates. Our slates are looking pretty freaking good. It's probably the nicest my slates have ever been at this part of the game. But the first thing I did is I went out to my God of Might Divinity and I bought one here that had 2 things at the top that can't get duplicated. And then I slammed 3 Onslaughter mods onto this. If you don't know, basically when you're going and you are crafting onto this, basically when you're putting a legendary on, if you click the big, here, I'll show you this part here. Somebody just asked about this actually. So this is kind of like what it would look like. If you click this big cross here, you can go and put a pact into here, and that will force you to get a legendary from a particular tree. It'll always be from whatever like branch the slate is. So it's a God of Might slate, so I can only choose one of these trees. But Onslaughter is really ridiculous because we can hit additional base damage is bad, but then this is good, so 1 to 1, and then this is good, so 1 to 2. This one's good, 1 to 3. This one's kind of bad, so 2 to 3. And then this one's great, so 2 to 4. So out of all 6 options that this tree has in terms of legendaries, only 2 of them are bad and 4 of them are good. And so I did not put on my initial slate any of those modifiers from Onslaughter because I knew I was going to be trying to slam those on, which is why I went with Fire Infiltration and Max Tenacity. And we just slammed on 3 times and we got lucky. Obviously having at the bottom here like percentage strength or something would be the best, but it is kind of what we got. And then all of my other slates here now have strength on the bottom. You can go and search for these types of things by, if you click strength and do last talent, it will show you like that. So if I do this, for example, you know, there's none like that out right now. And I just basically looked for things on here. I need max spell burst. I wanted to have agility generation. I wanted to have just more damage, plus spell skill level is about 10% damage, multiplicative, and I needed to have paralysis. And those are like kind of the things I wanted. We have the spell, the sealed mana compensation, which doesn't really help all that much for plenty of good mana. And then this blue slate is going to get old yellered here soon enough. We're probably going to go out and buy ourselves a prairie. And what prairie does, if you've never seen one before, and this is like a lot of information, so feel free to like rewatch the video. But this copies the last talent on all adjacent slates. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take this particular blue slate out, and eventually it's going to look something like this, where this pink one in the middle here is going to be the prairie. And then we're going to get moths as well, which copy the second or the last, only the last slate of just one in a direction. So it'll copy like that. And then a moth here, And so we're going to get 12% strength, 12% strength, 12% strength, and 12% strength 4 times. And then I'm going to put my God of War over here, and it'll be pretty good. Once we get the prairie the first time though, we're going to go and you can see I'm sending gliders right now for Sandlord. Sandlord is really good right now. Once we get the prairie in, I'll just put in a corner that gives me some good stuff. Maybe I'll just go and like farm some deep space and put in like immune to wilt or immune to ignite or immune to trauma, just to like give myself an easy time with that. but there's a whole bunch of different options there. One thing that's not on the build code that I just added like a couple minutes ago is this. So Kismet Mercury Bottle is really quite strong. And what this does is it gives you affliction per second. Because I removed a lot of the affliction per second stuff off of my slates, stacking up our affliction takes a while. But with this, it's practically 1 second, which allows you to have a much better experience when you're going and doing like Outlaw or something like that. And these are about, I think, 1,000 right now, which is really not all that much. And it has a range roll of 70 to 80. I got pretty lucky with hitting the 80 there. And that's pretty much how the gear is going for right now. Ideally, I need to fix probably this whole ring. We're probably just going to sell this ring and get a different one or just roll a second one. I want to get a ring probably maybe with a timid base if I can really get expensive here, or just another tenacity base. We need to tier 0 basically all of this. All of this is good. Armor penetration is very good for the build. If you don't know, enemies basically have, basically everyone has armor mitigation for non-physical damage. It's just less. And you want about 30% armor penetration. It's give you way more than like what it is on the tin, because, you know, they have 30% armor resistance. And so what that means is right now, if I didn't have any armor pen and I hit for 100 damage, we would do 70 damage. Let me get the math back out here. So if we hit for 100 damage, the armor here is going to reduce that down to 70. But if I got to 30% armor pen, we would be doing 100 damage instead. And so that's basically, you know, giving me 42% more damage. So that 30% turns into 42% actually. And this is very important for you to get both on armor penetration and elemental penetration. You can see these stats in here. I have 20 from this ring over here. And so ideally I'm going to have one ring that is max tenacity armor pen. The other one's going to be max tenacity elemental pen, strength combo, and then probably double resist on the bottom. Maybe crit. I don't really know if we're going crit just yet. But yeah, that's pretty much what we're looking for there. We might be replacing the boots. I still need to think about whether or not we really want to go super aura stack with these or not. We'll see. Magnus's Jealousy, obviously need to get a good double corrosion here. We're going to prioritize getting this line up, maybe the armor as well, maybe percentage strength, maybe this last line. I don't really know. And then we're probably going to get a hat that's the inverse of this. So don't let me see you coming in my chat and be like, oh man, I got the exact same hat you had, because this is not the right hat. We want to get this number up to 10%, and we probably want to get the max life increased just so we can get more life as well. And then probably long term, we're going to go and do star trails on our strength stuff and our strength stacking in our fates. So this gives you 45% extra for all micro fates in your pact branch. But it's just that pact branch. So I will basically move Firewing and Squiddle, and then I will fill in this entire section here with, you know, 2 more strength nodes, and then Star Trail, Star Trail, Star Trail, and then probably go get an Undetermined Fate, maybe with like multiple micros or something. So we just really get as much strength as possible. Right now I'm only chilling at 1676, which is pretty low. I love to get this closer to like 3000 ideally, but I don't really know if we need to go that hard. Lastly, I know a lot of people have been asking about prism. Long term, like this prism is not really going to cut it in terms of damage, or the other prism, sorry, the one that we're using most of the time is this one here with the additional spell damage burst. This gives us 24% more damage, but we pretty much are stuck then with Last Stand. But we're going to get rid of Last Stand by replacing that with a very, very, very expensive prism, probably called Keen Intellect. These are going down in price, and hopefully they continue to go down in price. But what this does is gives us multiplicative damage based on each spell that's equipped, each power that's equipped, each curse that's equipped. Defensive skill gets mana, which doesn't really help, and mobility skill gives us more cast speed. And so this is just very quite solid. And if you watched our video where we talk about prisms, there's a whole ton of different legendary stuff that you can possibly get, like this stuff over here. So on the legendaries, there's a whole bunch of different things we could possibly get. So things like when having 2 legendaries, we get a max tenacity would be kind of nice for us. We could possibly go and get like spell aggression here, and then I probably would want a new pedigree, which would be a little bit annoying. potentially get fixed blur, which would give us like some damage reduction. We could also potentially go and get one curse. Granted, we get cursed from this, so this is kind of like a kiss curse type of thing. There's just a lot of interesting things here. And realistically, it doesn't really seem like these are going to be super hard to roll, because I'm pretty sure that there's only these legendaries. And so pretty much the hard thing will be getting 2 good first mods and then landing the legendary you want. But yeah, that's pretty much the plans for the future. I know that's like a lot to dump on you and a lot to talk about. There's definitely been a lot of upgrades between this and the previous build. But I definitely think that this is going to hit damage cap. We'll definitely be able to kill Supreme Showdown. And I'm probably going to try to do some additional versions of the build, like maybe go back to doing Fire Burst or some other shenanigans with strength stacking and maybe some non-strength stacking. I'm not really sure what the plan is just yet. Hopefully you guys have a good one. We'll see you guys again soon, and come by the stream.